Welcome to another episode of Solitaryism, and I'm Robert Bideau, your host. Okay, so you're living your life alone, and you're looking outward at the world, and you walk by the bars in your neighborhood, you see the laughing people, you go home, you get on your phone, you start scrolling, you see the trips and the meals, parties, and the celebrations and the milestones, and you feel like life is passing you by. Well, I have some news for you. You're not missing out on anything. FOMO, the fear of missing out, is a big element of the whole loneliness epidemic that we're in right now, especially with young people who don't have a lot of life experience. You think that these things that you're witnessing are meant for you. Well, a lot of what you're witnessing isn't real, especially those things that you see on your screens. The altered pictures, some of them are AI generated. A lot of them are from people you don't even know that you're following, like some stalker or something. And you think that's what your life should be like. Well, when your life doesn't measure up to all of that, well, that's when depression sets in. And most of this depression and disappointment comes out of your expectations not meeting reality. And I've talked about this in other videos, where you feel disconnected because you think you should have some sort of connection, or you think you should have 35 friends that you can call and you don't have any, or you only have one or two, you're a loser, all of this stuff. Your expectations are not meeting reality. And on this channel, I've advocated many times to close that gap. And what do I mean by that? It means to sit down and take stock of your life and realize you're not that girl on Instagram with the 6 million followers. You're not Andrew Tate. You're not that famous podcaster, and that's not your life. That's one of the initial steps of liberating yourself. But you have to get over the idea that you're missing out on anything. You know, when I was younger, I felt that way too, and that was long before there were cell phones. So I was out all the time and, trying to make friends, and I had a social life where I was always going to parties and things like that. And some weekends I would stay home and work on things. I did a show called You're Too Young to Be So Isolated. And I want to build on some of those themes in that show. Because now, in my mid-50s, I'm looking back and I'm thinking all the time that I worried about missing out or comparing myself to others, that was a hell of a lot of wasted time and wasted energy. Now, fine, you can say that those experiences made me into the person I am today. But you can also say that learning from others' mistakes can get you farther along in life. And the internet's a wonderful thing to all you young people out there. Anyone who's under 40 really is blessed to have this, because you can leap over gigantic mistakes that you didn't even know you were going to cross paths with just by learning from people on the internet. I guess my generation, people who are over 40, we could learn from books and maybe teachers or the wisdom of the elders, but the knowledge is really widely disseminated out there now. And if there is one thing that I can tell you about the fear of missing out, is you're not missing out on anything. You're afraid of missing out on somebody else's definition of what your life should be like. You have to define what your life is supposed to be for you. Looking at Instagram or scrolling TikTok and thinking that that's how your life should be is not a good idea, because you're going to fall short of that for sure. So how do you deal with the fear of missing out? You have to define what you want out of life. And you have to define what success is. You have to define what you like to do. You have to define what an efficient use of your time is. And looking back as an older person, I see that I wasted a lot of time and energy thinking that I was missing out on things. again, I'll say you're not missing out on anything. Unless you're going against what you want to do in your life, okay, then you're missing out on things. If you're procrastinating or if you're canceling projects and plans that you know would help you and make your life better, maybe you're missing out there. But if you're afraid you're missing out on life as defined by other people, as defined by what you see around you, you're not. You're not at all. And if you're a loner, if you're practicing solitaryism, if you live a solitary life, then that's who you are. That's part of your essence. You're not going to go out clubbing every weekend. That's not who you are. So don't think you're missing out on it or that life is passing you by. You define what life is. And if friends and relatives try to get in your face to define it for you, stop them and say, no, it's my life. And that sounds kind of like part of a cheesy song lyric or some bumper sticker phrase, but it really is your life. You get to define it, and you're not missing out on anything. There's plenty of what ifs, different paths we could take, and thinking back and looking at things we may have regretted not doing or whatever. But really, when it comes down to it, you're not missing out on anything. Okay, I've said that too many times now. I think that's about all I needed to say on this topic. So thanks again for listening. I hope this was helpful. And remember to be happy alone.